Everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So the markets in the United States are closed because today is Juneteenth, but crypto is stateless, so crypto goes on. What do we have going on today? Let me just write this little note to you guys. There you go. All right. So as you know, everything that's going on in Iran, Iran and Israel, not good, still ongoing. I think it's going to go on for a few weeks. It'll probably be top of the news, going forward. And the reason why is everybody is watching because of the oil. Everybody is watching because of the oil. Now, Russia and China are watching because of Ukraine and Taiwan. Oh, yeah. The reason why is because if the U.S. exerts strength here over something we don't own, that we shouldn't have anything to do with, why can't let's say China exert strength over land that they've historically said is theirs, which is Taiwan? Interesting. So yeah, it can have a profound effect on all of our bags. Strait of Hormuz still in play. All right. So we don't know. The truth is we don't know the capabilities of Iran. We know they don't reach certain levels. But in terms of, let's say, if this was to turn into a guerrilla warfare type deal, we have no idea what they're capable of. We don't know if they're squirreled away anything, just pack things away in different places around the country. We don't know what they've done. I mean, do they have enough for a dirty bomb? I think they might. Could we see American troops on the ground? That would be the worst thing ever. The worst thing ever. And just like the big BM of a bill, we're not actually seeing any kind of a plan being implemented here because he thinks chaos is the way to go. It's going to affect our bags. It's not going to affect our bags immediately. But next quarter reporting, everything that's happening everything that happened last quarter and things that are beginning to happen in this current quarter, I'm telling you, next quarter earnings reports, I don't think are going to be good. I do not think you're going to be good because that's when you're actually going to see the effects of tariffs actually reflected in the numbers. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. Just saying. Then we've got a North Korean hacker, gained access to the Waves protocol code base, right? And they were able to inject malicious code in there that would steal credentials. That's a problem, right? They embedded the correct credential stealing code in NPM updates to steal mnemonic phrases and private keys, exploiting compromised credentials and dormant repositories. Do you see what happens when projects go out? Just saying. So when they say projects are abandoned, this is a possible result. The code gets left there, nothing's going on. If you're going to get rid of a project, you're done with the project, I think the best thing you could do is take it all down. Don't just leave it lingering there for the unsuspecting. Just saying. This is bad juju. This is bad stuff. And then you also still have that lawsuit going on against Apple, where some dude lost $80,000 because of a malicious app. Lost $80,000 worth of value because of a malicious app in the Apple Store. And they're going to court over it. It's no joke. 80 grand. I don't know too many of us that can afford to lose 80 grand. Oh, and then to bring up the court case, because Apple said, oh, well, we'll keep our walled garden safe. Well, that's what they're calling out. You said you would keep us safe. This was a malicious app. You didn't check it. And this is what it does. Oops. Not everything in an app store is safe because the app stores do not check the way they need to. They don't really earn their money with the App Store. All the money that they take from the developers and everybody else. So think about this. It's actually kind of funny. What I find to be funny is for the real app developers, it's a pain in the butt to get through the Apple's App Store, right? To gain approval and all that good stuff. I know because, well, we've done stuff like that. And so it's been rejected, have to fix this, have to fix that. I mean, they can get down in the dirt with this. But allegedly they didn't do it with this one. And this isn't the first time that somebody's raised their hand to say, hey, something's going on. Oops. I've never believed that app stores were safe. Never believed that app stores were safe. I don't think Google was dumb enough to ever say something like that. I think they just said, we have an app store. There is an app store. But I don't think they actually went out there and said that, hey, we're safe. We're perfect. No, I don't think they ever said something like that. Apple, on the other hand, definitely gave people the feeling that this is a walled garden and blah, 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 and safety, and this is why we do this, and yada, 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 wah, wah, wah. I think that's what happened. So I'm going to be very interested to watch this suit. It's over the Swift Crypt scam, and the person that lost their money is Daniel Shin. Just in case you're interested in following that, Swift Crypt is the name of it. So yeah, and they're suing over breach of safety promises. Just saying. Ohio passed HB 116. What that does is it says that small transactions, you don't have to worry about that capital gains tax of $200. Is it a lot? No. Is it a big step in the right direction? Yeah, it could be. First, I believe they're the first state to do something like that, so it is kind of a big deal. And I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. However, at what point are you responsible for capital gains tax, all that good stuff? Just saying. Then you've got Trump. Apparently, Trump has, the regime has a preference between the Stable Bill and the Genius Act. And it seems that he's urging people to get done with the Genius Act. Now, if you look at the two, competing, regulations, the Genius Act is less stringent. The Genius Act is less stringent. So yeah, that's something to think about. So when I look at that, I'm kind of like, that's interesting. I wonder why he would prefer the less stringent. Yeah, no, that's a stupid thought. Of course it's going to be less stringent. Of course. And of course he's going to prefer that one. Of course. It's kind of par for the course, isn't it? Anything that's going to make it easy for him to do what he does, which is make a lot of money while he's president. And they'll say, oh, it's his sons that are involved. Well, no. He filed taxes. He made filings where he showed $57 million from one of those holdings. World Liberty Financial. Yeah. So there are reasons why you would think that this is a no bueno situation for the president of the United States to be making this kind of money via any kind of vehicle, let alone crypto. So yeah, paying attention to things like that. Binance led a crypto transparency ranking, right? Binance was highly ranked. Why? Because they were able to show proof of reserves. There were a couple of them out there that were able to prove proof of reserves. Binance ranked first with greater than 100% proof of reserves. You want to know where Coinbase ranked? As per CryptoQuant? Good morning, Rick Ritchie. It ranked last. As per CryptoQuant, Coinbase ranked last for lack of proof of reserve. And I have to say, over the past while, they've been moving in the wrong direction. Brian Armstrong and Coinbase have been moving in the absolute wrong direction with regard to what they're doing. Now, if this report holds up to be true, Coinbase to me has already lost a lot of credibility. But this right here, that's big. That's big. You didn't show proof of reserves, an adequate, proof of reserves, and you make money hand over fist as an exchange, let alone how much money you're making over USDC, which makes me feel like your relationship with USDC is kind of, I'm not going to say shady, but it does give me food for thought. Just saying, I'm not a fan anymore. I am not a fan. Certain things that Brian Armstrong has chosen to do with Coinbase, I'm kind of like, yeah, nah, there are other places where we could go and not Coinbase. And no, I don't get paid by anybody else. I don't get paid by anybody, actually, except our members. We don't get checks from Coinbase or KuCoin or Gemini or any one of the exchanges out there. We don't get money from them. I'm just out here raw dogging it, putting the news out there, giving you my opinion. That's it. That's all we can hope for, right? But I'm looking at this report and I'm kind of going, man, remember when Coinbase just seemed like the one, and it's not? Just saying. Everybody had a lot of stuff to talk about when it came to CZ and Binance. I want to see the same fervor for Brian Armstrong and Coinbase. Just saying. Then we've got, what other good news we have? 1inch Foundation proposed $768,000 reimbursement for the October 24 hack that happened. So there's something on the table. Now they're requiring KYC, know your customer, right? Verification and a DAO vote. So yeah, no, this could work. With 53.47% of the DAO in favor and 46.53 against, targeting Lottie player supply chain vulnerability. Yeah. Why would you vote no? Forget about, the majority voting yes. But that's a big number. 46.53% voted no. Why? They voted no to making people whole. Why? I don't have any 1inch. I can tell you that now. And given this vote, I probably never will. Because I want to know, why did they vote no? I'm going to have to dig in deep to find. I don't know that I care to dig in deep. Just the fact that over 46% of you voted no just tells me, yeah, I have no reason to get involved with you people, like, ever. To make people whole because of a hack that you had, you vote no? That seems strangely odd to me. Strangely odd. Just saying. And then remember that whole scandal with what was this guy's name? Pavel Blazik. He's a ex-justice minister. Received, let me see, 468 Bitcoin from an alleged dark web drug trafficker. 468 Bitcoin. And the current government, he's an ex-justice now, obviously, and the government survived a no confidence vote. That to me seems very suspect. But how did the government handle it? Well, as soon as he, received it, he became an ex-justice. But was he allowed to keep it? I believe so. And so, hence, do we have faith in this government? He's allowed to keep it. Why would you have faith in this government? No, take that away and fire him. Take it away and fire him or her. I don't think that's what happened. And then, what cases were involved in that whole little thing? Ooh. I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like anything that would affect your bag directly, right? But you are talking about, the Czech Republic, and you're talking about what their government rules would be around crypto, and what they do there could affect here. What we do here could affect there. That's how that works, because crypto's stateless. And if they're demonstrating that we've got crooked people in government that can basically be bought, and then what was the time frame? Was it just, here's a chunk of money, leave me alone? Or what was it? Asking for a friend. Again, 468 Bitcoin. 468 times 100,000. You do the math. Can you say wow, wow? Probably living high on the hog now. And you have to ask yourself, well, what else happened? Like I said, there are things that I look at here that I kind of go, what's up with that? What's up with that? So I do wonder about how that all works out. I am wondering. Because it's a scary thought to know that a whole government can be bought like that. But they won the no confidence vote. So does that mean that the government is now, under scrutiny with everything that they do going forward? Something's in my eye and it's making my eye blurry. Something to contemplate. Then we've got Bitcoin's ancient supply. It's about 17% of total. Surpassed daily issuance. So daily issuance is about 450 BTC. And it bumped up to 500 and change. 556, I think. Some number like that. Interesting. And I find it to be interesting. Why? Because Bitcoin moves around the world. People are buying Bitcoin. Retail's buying Bitcoin. Institutions are buying Bitcoin. And institutions are gobbling up Bitcoin like nobody's freaking business. We need retail people like me, like you, to start going out there buying and using Bitcoin. We need to keep Bitcoin in circulation. Right now, 30%, 30 some odd percent is controlled by some kind of institution or Michael Saylor. Just saying that it's scary to think of. And it diminishes the security around Bitcoin if we keep moving in a decentralized direction, which is where we're going right now, where you have a few in control of. That would not be pretty. And then, of course, yesterday's news, the biggest news of yesterday was, well, exactly what I said. Excuse me. The Fed left it unchanged, left the interest rates unchanged. That should be well known. They still think that they're going to have 2 rate cuts, right? However, I don't think those rate cuts are going to start until September. So for the rest of the summer, there should be no speculation. There should be zero speculation unless there's a massive macro event. And no, I don't think the war would do it. I think like YouTube is having a problem. Sorry about that blip. It seemed like YouTube had a problem. I was sending signal and YouTube was saying, nah. Weird. Definitely weird. But I think that over the summer, not much is going to happen. We could have some macro events, but I don't see any bright spot catalyst waiting in the wings, except for ETF approvals. And I don't think they want to do ETF approvals until everybody gets back from vacation, which means September. October is a huge vacation month. So I think September. That's when I think we could start seeing ETFs being approved. Because right now, there's no reason to hold them up. Nothing's changed at the SEC. You hear a lot of yakety schmackety from this guy. What's his name? Paul Atkins. You hear a lot of yap from this guy, but what you're not seeing is positive action. Why are you holding up these ETFs if not to manipulate the market? I mean, heck, it's pretty pathetic that Canada has an XRP ETF and we don't. Just saying, just putting it out there for you. What's the reason to hold them up? Now, there were a couple of Solana ETFs that might have gone to go into the public for, reflection, all that good stuff. But I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of like waiting. I'm waiting to see a difference between before with Gary Gensler and now with Paul Atkins. Before it was, well, he just started the job, blah, 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 blah. But remember, before he started the job, Gensler was out. They put in a temporary head. And so the new regime had their finger there. What happened? What happened? What are we waiting for? Why are we holding up on these ETFs? And as far as I'm concerned, it's market manipulation. You want to wait until you can approve the ETFs at the most ideal time. I don't know. Maybe they'll be used as cover for other things that we have going on. Haven't you noticed that every time something good is about to happen, something really bad happens, and it basically crushes the positive impact from what was good? Market was headed toward 120 twice. And then you use the T word and everything fizzled. Twice. Seems like every time there's something good, it fizzles. Now, here's something else for you. Everybody's thinking, oh, well, when he signs the Genius Act, when the House passes it and he signs it, that's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a catalyst. I don't think so. I do not think that that'll be a big catalyst at all. Not in the slightest. I just don't see it. How? It's not big enough. I mean, it's good news. Don't get me wrong. It's good news. But it's not big enough to actually be a catalyst for the whole market. I believe you really do need something else going on to make it a catalyst for the whole market. And again, that could just be me, but I think that's how it's going to play out. Sorry, I was feeling a little stiff. So, got to get yourself in order. Health is wealth. So, just looking at it, I'm just kind of like, yeah. So there's still news today. There's still reasons for you to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Always practices GMB3. Always. Just saying. But you know what we should do now? That's right. We should go over the numbers. Get my notes out of the way. All right. We don't have anything. Nothing matters except for what happened yesterday, really. We got some Fed speak. You should pay attention to Fed speak, see who's thinking what. Because here's why. Last Fed meeting, last FOMC meeting, again, really? And I'm pumping out. Hey, Rick, can you see me okay? Can everybody see me okay? Hear me okay? It's ridiculous. Of course, I have the wrong image up. There you go. Now you can see my big, ugly face. But, cool. Thank you, Rick. So, what you have is a lot of Fed speak. Now, the previous FOMC meeting, there were only 4 people that said, we don't want a rate increase right now. This meeting, there were 7 people. So you went up from 4 to 7 at the Fed that said, nah, we shouldn't touch the rates. And I'm willing to bet that when you look at the previous meeting, I'm bet you they're sitting there and everybody's going, yeah, that was the right call. At first I thought it was the wrong call, but it turned out to be the right call. And now you went from 4 to 7 that believe that, yeah, we shouldn't have moved the rates. This is why you pay attention to Fed speak. You want to understand what they're thinking and how they feel about it. You want to pay attention to that. And people might be sitting there going, why would I want to pay attention to that? You want to pay attention to it because most people don't. So it gives you a little bit of a time advantage to understand where their heads are at. And you might be able to react to it and make money or diminish risk. Or both. Just saying. So yeah, we've got to think about things like this. Pay attention. Please pay attention. Pretty, please. Right? Fear and greed index is at 57. It was at 52 yesterday. Not a lot of movement, and that's because of, I can almost guarantee you it's because of the war, because now it sounds like the United States is kind of moving toward taking its own action. Why? But okay. DeFi Llama, we're at $119.508 billion in total value locked. Kind of holding steady, but still, kind of dripping toward the wrong direction. If you look at Bitcoin right here, was still moving sideways. Look at the band that we have established right here, 102,771 to 109,337. That band, this part of the band was a previous high. This part of the band was also a previous high. And it's become our floor. It's become our resistance. Well, our bottom, and this is our resistance. We have a problem going above 109,337 and maintaining a position above that number. So we're literally just moving sideways. Literally just moving sideways. Looking at the big board, yeah, there are things here that I would still snatch up. Holy moly. Cardano moving in the wrong direction at 60. Yeah, I'd snatch that up. I would snatch that up. Link was down in the 12s yesterday. It's moved up $1 today. Yeah, I'd have snatched that up. Link is always making me money. Doge, I don't play with. Everybody knows that. SHIB is something I would snatch up. Aave is something I would snatch up. SUI, XRP, Ethereum, BNB. If you're into Sol, you could buy it right now at 146 and make a move later. Just saying, you could do that. Because it seems to be bouncing. For the past little while, it's been bouncing between the 140s and 150s. So you could make that money. You could make that money bouncing back and forth. Just saying, I'm playing volatility. I'm playing volatility. Then you've got BCH, another one I would snatch up. Obviously BTC, ETH. But those are things that I would be paying attention to. Looking at the big board. Let me just refresh the screen. There you go. Nice refresh screen. And you're looking at the distance between Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of hovering at the same place. About 36%, 36 point difference. Yeah, and everything that I just said about the coins that I get involved in, still there. Still holds true. And you wonder why I'm not a big fan of Doge? Look at Doge, down 46%, over 46% year to date. Why would I touch that? Why would I touch that? Hyperliquid is taking a little bit of a hit. It's been taking a little bit of a hit for a little while. It's year to date dropped. Go look at yesterday's video and go look at today's video, and you'll see there it's year to date dropped. Just saying, because you can see it right here. Bam, bam, bam. I like to get an idea about what the rhythm is. That's honestly how I look at it. Let's see. Come on, chop, chop. Let's go. Oh my God, it's so slow this morning. I'm glad this is just a test site. You can tell it's a test site because I'm going to core. Instead of dub, I'm going to core. And I know the guys are still working on it. They're doing a lot of work in the background, so I can't really cry about it. But let's go to losers. All right, right there. You stop right there and you just go, yeah, I have a 5% rule. Yo, Rogelio, what's going on? When you sit there and you look at that, I have a 5% rule. I don't pay attention to anything that's moving less than 5%. You go over to the winners and you're kind of like, huh, okay. Where does 5% stop? This whole list is on the upside. This whole list is on the upside. That's interesting to me. All right, so start from the top. Aerodrome Finance. I don't know why this one moves so much, but it's up 21%. It's got a GMB X factor of 1.46. I won't touch it. I have no reason to touch it. Like, I have nothing against it. I just don't understand how they're doing so well. There's no reason for them to exist, but they do, and they're making it happen. Gotta give them a hat tip for that. I just have no reason. I have no reason to make a slot for it in my portfolio. Radium up 14.14%, GMB X factor of 6.41. Am I touching Radium? No. I think Radium lost its spark once Pump.Fun decided to go on its own. and then pump.fun, I have to check to see if their X account was reinstated. Remember, it got suspended. So it's interesting to just watch these things play out. OKB is up 12.72%. It's got a GMB X factor of 0.37. I have no reason to buy that coin, but it's been doing all right. 0.37 GMB X factor? What? I'm just saying. All right, so some people are asking, like, what's the GMB X factor about? It's not just about the distance from now to the all-time high. I also use it as a risk mechanism. I understand that there's more risk in me buying radium. You could say, oh, there's more upside. Yes, the more upside, the more risk. Get it? So I use it as a risk factor, not just a judgment on distance between where we are now and an all-time high. But you've got to say to yourself, OKB has been doing close to Bitcoin. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Let's see. Who else am I paying attention to? I know a couple of people that are into JITO. It's up 9.73% with a GMB X factor of 1.57. You've got helium, which I would not touch. I haven't touched helium in ages. But it's up 9% with a GMB X factor of 22.06. Do I think helium is going anywhere? No. But do I think helium has a potential to make money for me? If I make a slot for it, I could do trades on helium. Helium moves. Helium has a certain volatility to it. I would just go back and I would study, well, what's the volatility, and see if I can do something with it. Ondo is up 7.65% with a GMB X factor of 1.72. 1.72 tells me that it's got enough of a risk factor to make me go, oh, okay, not a lot of risk at 1.72, right? And decent upside. I would do it. I don't have a reason to make a slot for Ondo, but if I was analyzing Ondo, that would be my analysis. Like, yeah, I could do that. If I had extra money and I had extra time, and I could see myself adding Ondo. I was supposed to once. If you actually have been watching me for a while, I was supposed to buy Ondo once. And then what happened? Well, my gut said nah, and put me into something else. That actually made me money. So I'm like, all right, well, fine. I think it was a meme coin or something like that. I just said, nah, I'm not going to do it. Injective is up 7.27 with GMB X factor 3.62. I think at some point, Injective is going to make moves. Artificial intelligence, FET, I still hold some FET. 7.065% upward momentum, and it's got a GMB X factor of 3.99. I'll just be holding that for a while because it's a part of the whole artificial intelligence thing, the whole AI thing. So I'm holding on to it. Let's see. Would never touch. This one right here, would never touch. Nah, nope. Kronos up 6.42% with a GMB X factor of 9.6. I wouldn't touch that either. I haven't owned any Kronos. I'm gonna say like 1.5, 2 years. I got burned by it, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good off that. Got burned, made a poor decision in getting it. I'll probably never touch it again. It's made money for other people. It didn't work out for me. The timing wasn't right. And it taught me a few things. It taught me to do better at paying attention to a coin's rhythm, paying attention to what a coin actually does. This is why. So yeah, pay attention to these things. Virtuals protocol. Okay, this is something that a lot of my friends are paying attention to. I believe I own a small bag of virtuals. It's up 5.87. It's got a GMB X factor of 1.93. Do I think it'll wind up going up and doing well for me? Yes. Right now I'm at break even. I'm pretty much at break even right now with virtuals. Curve DAO, I don't have any. I know a few people that do. It's up 5.53%. GMB X factor of 24.86. Would I ever? No, I would not. However, if I'm looking to trade and my parameters on trade is basically predictable volatility, Curve DAO might actually fall into that space. There could be enough movement on Curve DAO to make me say I could do that. But again, you notice how I keep telling you about the rhythm of coins and everything else. because you want to know if it's on the upswing, but they get bad news. What's that resistance to go back down? Or what's the resistance to go back up? These are the things I pay attention to. And this is why I choose to only have a certain number of slots, because I can only handle doing that analysis for a certain number of slots before I have to bring in, software and all that kind of stuff. Do I have software that'll help me do that? Yes. But I don't have time for that. The numbers can tell me something, but the numbers are not going to tell me how it's going to react to a macro or micro event. That takes this. And I don't have a lot of that to spread around because, I'm dumb to begin with. Just saying. Just saying. Optimism up 5.41% with a GMB X factor of 7.53. I would tell people don't necessarily sleep on optimism. Optimism is a platform that you build on. It's a platform that you build on. I would say not to sleep on that one. Optimism, I think, will eventually come back. So that 7.53, it might not be anytime soon, but that 7.53, yeah, I think that could happen. And we all know that Eddie doesn't play with WorldCoin. I do not play with WorldCoin, period. I mean, look at this GMB X factor of 11.62. I would never. I don't like what they're all about. I'm just not playing with WorldCoin. Like, nah, I'm good off that. Nope. You have fun. You want to play with it? Go ahead. I'm not. I'm good off that. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this particular channel. Why? Because this community, the GMB community, is all about building each other up and making sure that we all understand how to build our bags, how to grow our bags, and how to manage those bags in good times and in bad. Remember, everybody's a rock star when the market's going up, but there aren't that many of us that are trying to help you learn so you can manage when the market's going down. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I will fight to maintain that trust every day. Everybody have a good one. I'll see you tonight at the Crypto Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.